Hi, my name is Garrett McCullough. I'm in Dr. Christensen's accounting ethics class. At this time, I would like to discuss the Chief Ethics Officer and his role and why. Over the past 15 years, we've definitely seen that the ethical climate does not seem to be getting better in corporate America. Through the fall of Enron alone, there was over $74 billion lost by shareholders, not to mention the thousands of jobs that were lost. Now, much of corporate America at this time is taking safeguards to try and protect from future incidents such as this, and hence we see the rise of the ethics officer. So just to discuss some of his roles, the ethics officer's roles are to investigate any allegations of ethical misconduct, to address any incidents that they come across, and to help find reasonable solutions for anyone in the organization that might be put in a position of trying to be coerced to do unethical acts. However, despite the rise of the ethics officer, there are many in corporate America at this time who are not convinced that this is a successful avenue or one that could bring real, true, lasting results within most organizations. I'd like to bring up some of the current problems that I see with the ethics officer. Number one, the ambiguity of the role. The Ethics Officer Association defines the role of the ethics officer as to improve ethical performance within the organization. How do we expect an ethics officer to do so with such vague responsibilities? Number two, I would like to suggest that another difficult one is the conflicting roles that the ethics officer has. The ethics officer might see himself as someone who is supposed to represent the employees, and in case there's ever someone who is being pressured by a superior to perform unethical acts or to do something unethical. However, the CEO might see the ethics officer as someone who just does investigations or looks into allegations. However, the board of directors themselves might see the ethics officer as the watchdog for them, both keeping an eye on the employees as well as the CEO. With such varying, conflicting roles, it's no wonder that the ethics officer might not be very successful at this time. The third that I'd like to suggest is independence. Hoffman, Neal, and Stovall, in their research of several ethics officers within organizations, found that most of them were hired and fired by the CEO of the company. Without any independence, which is the case with this, how can we expect the ethics officer to be very successful in his role? He would constantly be in fear of losing his job by reporting any improprieties that might shed a bad light on his superiors. So at this time, I'd like to suggest some solutions that could be possibilities for making the role of the ethics officer more successful. And the first is that I agree with what Hoffman, Neal, and Stovall suggested in the fact that they feel that the ethics officer should be hired and fired by the board of directors and report only to them. And the way they will be completely independent of anyone else and be able to perform their job without fear of retribution from superiors. The second I would like to suggest is to have clearly defined roles. In order for anybody to be successful in an organization, they need to understand what their position in the organization is and what is their expected responsibilities. Number three, I suggest that there should be no cross-positional responsibilities. The ethics officer should not be fulfilling roles as something else within the organization as well as the ethics officer, because that starts to blur the lines once again of independence. So my conclusion, I don't feel that the ethics officer within corporate America today is an ineffective position at this time. If so, I would almost suggest that it's probably more likely due to the fact that we don't have these kinks worked out in the position, and that once we do so, we can see marked improvements within the ethical climate of a company due to the ethics department and the role of the ethics officer. And by doing this, I think we could see some definite success in that area. Thanks.